Yep,
we're live right now. Come on in, folks. We see you out there. We see you. Come on in. It's time for another episode of the Sunday Funnies. This guy right here. Yeah.
Here we go.
It's Sunday morning. It's the 23rd of April, and we are live. So the chat is open. You can actually talk to us today, as opposed to last week. They're going to run the opening and then get to it. Jen's in the house. Glenn is here. I'm here. Who knows who else will show up? Rosema, where are you? We'll see you later. Hang on, folks.
Rosema is AI, isn't he?
He is. He's MIA, actually. It's more like it.
Yeah.
Here we go. And Russ is here.
Always
Russ.
see you. Right,
Hello.
Welcome everybody to the Sunday Funnies.
Thank you. It's good to be here again.
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming on. You're always welcome on here, like I said.
Yeah, thank you.
How's the campaign running?
Well, the campaign is running as expected and not expected. I did not expect much traffic because this is first time, and I'm not that social media active because it's a war zone, and I believe more in human contact. I believe in the physical world more than the internet because it's just overcrowded totally. So it's one of the things that have exhausted me. It was running this campaign and trying to push people into another campaign from another unknown for another project not finished. So taking that in consideration, thinking about that, I think it goes well. I have the exposure I need. I have my contact in real life, and let me show you because you always need to make room for crazy people. So I did that, and
we know all about that.
Yeah, I made room for crazy people. Let me just share my screen.
While you do that, Ephraim's in the house. Ephraim, how you doing?
Hello.
How's it going? It's all going well. While you're still looking, we want to wish C. Michael Lanning a healthy recovery.
Yeah.
You seem to have diagnosed his what he's got with a disease longer than it would take for me to try to pronounce it.
Wow.
So they're giving him chemotherapy, and supposedly it's going to burn everything out and he'll be better. So we wish him a speedy recovery.
Get well soon, mate.
They thought for a while there they'd caught it from a stray germ from an armadillo. I'm not lying.
Yeah, lots of armadillos down in Louisiana.
Yeah, they crawl in through the
So
swamp
here's
around.
Can you see my campaign now?
I can see your campaign, Jen. Give me just a second. Greetings, sinners. Hope you're having a good day. Yes, Marvy. Hope you are too, man. There it is.
There it is. There we go. And we got some traffic, and we got some people who wants the physical copy. That's what I'm aiming for. People need the physical copy. We got people who wants the PDF, and we got the crazy supporters that will get absolute the same thing, but with a crazy amount of money. And someone just claimed that.
Wow.
Cool.
That's $100.
Wow.
Sweet.
Yes.
All good.
And I was tracking the traffic, and it was just it's not my mom. It's actually
Allegedly.
people on the internet looking up, figuring out who are you, what are you doing. Wow, you are doing such a great job. I will crazy support you. I will give you $100 just to get one single copy of the same thing that you can get from $10. Yeah, that's mind blowing. It's wow. Now we got infinity shit.
There we are. Yes.
So that's
Gotta
how
do
the
some-
campaign is going.
Good.
And I'm aiming and looking forward for the cosplay convention that I've been invited to. Nathan, the artist, will take an airplane and get to Sweden, and we will be on stage and talk about it because the community there, they want to hear about it because they also have this. Wow, you're doing something.
Mhm.
Like this internet guy coming and say, "Hey, I give you $100. Here you go. You got something."
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
all good.
and not about me. What are you doing? What are you up to?
Going crazy as usual. So working on the Fool a little bit, touching that up, making sure the print file is going to be good. We currently have a campaign running over on funmycomic.com. I can run the real quick trailer for that Marv
Yeah, do
supplied
that,
to us.
do
Here we
that.
go. I haven't been giving it the love it needs to get, but I did put up some fresh pages yesterday. So if you want to see a few more pages from the book, it's over at funmycomic.com. Look under the Fool campaign. So we
That's
don't
looking good.
have $100 tier. I should have made one. But
Always make room for crazy people.
there
Can
we
you
are.
not- Can you not make it now?
I can. I just we'll see how this one goes, and
But I cannot take credit for that idea. Now we are talking about influences.
Mhm.
Do you know Gone with the Blast Wave?
No.
No? Okay. For me, it's a huge webcomic about a future war where everything is so boring and it's so meaningless and it's so wasteland that there's nothing to fight for. And the author is actually making it funny and making it very, very real to the people. How will you live in that world where there's nothing left to fight for? You will find pieces of fun to do, and that humor is reflecting from his personality. And his personality is like, I'm doing this because I'm bored, and the people in the war are bored. And if you want to support me, well, go ahead and support me. Here's a link. I cannot promise you anything because I'm only doing this when I'm bored. And if you want to support me even more, do it here and get nothing in return. And that was the spirit of the entire webcomic and his personality.
Uh-huh.
And he is winning big time with it because it's so honest. So that
Transparency is the
inspired
key.
me to make room for crazy people.
Mm-hmm.
So where do we find this?
Gone with the Blast Wave.
Blast Wave.
Let's see.
Blastwave.com.
Gone with the Blast Wave.
If you can, throw a link for that up in the chat, Jen.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because everybody's going to want to see that.
Yeah, we need that. Here we go, pushing some buttons.
If Frayne wants to know Black Belt, what's the name of your pet?
Is that monkey?
This. It's monkey.
Here we go.
Monkey.
Gone with the Blast Wave comic. Blast Wave comic. That was the private chat. That's the wrong one.
That's all right.
It's
I
the
can
PG
transfer.
Tips monkey. Monkey. I just
Monkey.
Drop my thing.
There we are. And
Yeah, put it on screen.
there we go in triple time. Here's that
Nice.
link. Oh, that reminds me. I need to run over to my Facebook page here just a second. I keep forgetting to do this, and it drives me crazy because they always put me up as private. Now we're public. Hello, everybody over on Facebook. Come on in.
Yeah, we got Facebook people.
A few minutes in. Yeah. I'm going to talk about our top 5 influences today. The ones that you think really influenced your style or the way that you work in this business. So.
And I keep forgetting what's his name of this Blast Wave comic. I think he's some kind of Eastern Europe name or something.
I can call it up here. Give me just a second to pull it through. I already got it. Gone with the Blast Wave. It's over at blastwave-comic.com. Kick that in. There we are. Gone with the Blast Wave. Number 1, why do we fight? Do you know the meaning of this war? He has pigs with helmets. Or is that that's a hedgehog?
Yeah,
And a fox and a moose. Awesome. I mean, what's the point? Can't be for the land because everything is burned, bombed, or polluted. Can't be for the money because there isn't anything left to spend it on. So what is it? Religion? Why do we fight? To win the war. Works for me.
Yeah, that's simple.
There we are. Cool.
And it keeps going on like that. And then you have ridiculous competition, how to kill the best way. And the winner was dropping a tank on the enemy from a high building. And everybody was asking, how did you get the tank up in the high building? It was there already.
Bored? Being bored? Yeah.
Yeah. Sniping random stuff, not killing him.
Cool. He's got over 80 strips up here.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to go over and check that out. Catch the Gone with the Blast Wave. That's fun.
It's kind of this kind of comic that you have to get into.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get some pages, get in the mood, get in the understanding of the humor, and then you will never leave it.
Cool.
So
what else is
any
going
other
on?
influences? Let's have them. This is fun.
Been working and working. So how about you, Glenn? You doing all right?
Yeah, I've just got to send off my PDF of my Kirby book to Teddy at New Haven this afternoon, or tomorrow morning. So that's coming to. That's going to be out at the end of beginning of May, I think. And then I've got my and then I've got my Manchester United soccer book coming out in the middle of June.
Cool.
And then after that, Hatch will be coming out, and my children's book, Little Green Tree, will be coming out shortly. So 4 books straight away. So that's awesome. Really good. Really looking forward to them, seeing them. They're already up on Waterstones. I don't know whether you have Waterstones here, Randy. It's like Barnes and Noble type of thing. It's this big bookstore, Yeah.
Okay.
And it's going in there, and it's already on Amazon. I think it's on a pre-sale on Amazon. So looking forward to that being published. So yeah, really busy.
Cool.
Nice. You say a children's book?
Yeah.
How did you get that published?
This one.
Wow.
Well, it's partly down to Russ here, who's very quiet today.
Sorry.
It's okay. he opened the door for me with his publisher, and they like my work, and they've taken it on. So I do diverse things. I've got a soccer book, as I've just said, a book about Jack Kirby, which these 2 guys have already got and seen. The children's book, and hopefully more to come.
Because I think that reaching out as an indie to children, that will be hard. you need to have them physical in the eyes for the children, I believe.
Yeah, I wasn't. It's not going to go on a crowdfunding. I think I'm pretty much done with crowdfunding, to tell you the truth, because like you said, it's quite, and as these two guys know, it's very stressful, and you're trying to. It's a big pond out there, so to speak, and there's a lot of things in it, and I think I don't know. I think it might have had its time. Basically, I might change my mind. I usually
Really?
do.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think it depends what you want to do. I think it's great for indies, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of stress there, and Russ knows this. And when he was sending out his "Only Death Can Save Us" only the other week, and I had it last year with the Kirby thing. It's just a lot of stress. I'd rather put it with the publisher, take less, and let them get on with it. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're now joined by Pedro. Pedro,
How you doing?
how you doing, man?
What's up?
Oh, the
Great.
Hangman's here.
Yeah.
How are
We've
things
got-
in
we've got-
Panama?
We've got Pedro with his Gil Kane angle on his camera.
Yeah, dude. I'm moving things up. I want to show you my roof. I don't know. No, things are good, man. Things are hot. It's getting hotter. The cicadas are making a lot of noise.
Huh.
That's
Cool.
unnerving.
It's 30 degrees here today. Anyway,
Ouch.
the grass is actually a little frosted on it this
Mm.
morning.
Now,
When I went
we
out for
we
the
idle at
morning paper.
87. We idle at
87?
87. Yeah.
Already?
Yeah.
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 Cool. Not cool, but
Tropical.
Yeah, my wife would last about 15 minutes in that weather.
Yeah. I have a lot
She
of
goes,
friends
"It's
that come
too hot."
visit. I had a lot of friends come visit and they just melt. Or get a nice like shrimp-like cocktail tinge on their skin.
Mhm.
Some people enjoy that. I was just like, oh, dude, this is rough on you.
Mad Dog's an Englishman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marvi says the Buscema brothers. That's two, but counts like one. Bernie
Mm.
Wrightson,
Oof.
Barry W. Smith, the
Are we-
Kubrick.
Are we
That's
doing a
weird.
list?
They
Are we
also
doing a
count
list?
like one. Yeah, we're doing
We're
like
doing
our
a
top
list.
5 influences.
Okay, I'll do my list then. Seeing as
Ross Andrew, and the list goes on. Ross
seeing as
Andrew.
seeing as Marv's just jumped in there,
He
Yeah.
did.
I'll go.
That's the
I'll
theme
go
of the
5.
show.
I'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
All right.
So 5. I'm going to cheat with 5. Okay, and say there's three artists that kind of do a lot of the same things for me. I was reading them a lot when I was younger, and they were just generating lots of great content, and they were making it in a way that was the anatomy was good, the framing was good, the scene setting was excellent, and so I read a lot of Dave Gibbons' work when I was with 2000 AD, very early Doctor Who, of course.
Oh, sweet.
Gil Kane in Spider-Man, and Brian Bolland in a lot of British comics. And those three guys, although I wouldn't suggest that my work is the style is inspired by them, certainly like the way that things are framed, that idea of creating an environment that they did so well, and also what could be seemingly just seeing from the content that they put out, their work ethic, I think, must have been profound as well.
Yeah.
So that they all kind of come into that lump. And there's the other thing that has to be said about all the names in my list is they're the top names of those people that I would suggest I consciously see as effects on my work.
Mhm.
But there's a whole bunch of artists after the conscious ones that are subconscious ones. Okay, so there's several artists from further back that other people have mentioned that might be some kind of influence on my work that I wouldn't necessarily have known about. I'd have just seen their work and kind of integrated it, as it were. 4, I'd have to go for Stalin. His anatomy can be flawed at times, but his work is bonkers. It's so creative and so out there that it really did it for me when I was a kid. As far as design, as far as the imagery is concerned, Steranko would have to come in at 3. Just because he's so strong. His style was just so incredibly strong, and it did so much to elevate the art form in such a very short period of time that he was involved in comics. Reading the reprints of Shield, Nick Fury, Agent of Shield in Captain Britain when I was very young, that had a massive effect on me. The way that the styling was done.
Just saw him last weekend at the Grand Rapids.
Yeah, like What a Showman. Yeah,
Still Steranko. Yep.
Coming in at second, and this is about the line work. So I know he in himself is an artist in his own right, but the way that he inked other people, Joe Sinnott, just fabulous line work. Everything he did was great, and the fact that you could see the penciler's styles through his inks, through his lines, and at the same time it be instantly recognizable as a Joe Sinnott work. I can't really put into words just how impressive that is, especially as a young artist. And for me, I've left some prominent people out of this list because it's only a 5 list.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to put, but John Buscema has got to be top for me, simply because of the way that he formulated anatomy, the way he composed scenery, the way he injected energy and dynamics into his forms. Just unparalleled, personally, I feel. So he's my top. So there's my top 5. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. What's that noise?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Cicadas.
Oh, that's the cicadas.
It's the robo insects.
Yeah, they sound like little jingle bells almost through my.
I live in the jungle. I'm gonna mute if it's too distracting.
Oh, before you mute yourself, you got any influences you want to admit to?
Oh yeah, dude. The thing is, like, my influences were influenced by the guys you just mentioned, but this has been my journey, so I can only be sincere about it. But there's a couple of animator names there, which animators are not famous, so this might be like new names, like Glenn Keane, for example, the animator for Tarzan. That guy's a huge influence on me. Like, his grasp of anatomy and movement, it's unparalleled, and I would recommend anyone to get the Tarzan book. I mean, it's out of print, it's very expensive, but you just see like how he did studies. Like, he would grab like the frames of the animation, and he would draw the muscles. Like, this is what the deltoid is. This is what the latissimus dorsi is doing in this pose, and it will just expand your mind. And that's something. That's a guy that has always been present. Comic book wise, I'll have to say that when I got introduced to art, it was in the 90s, and people who affect the way I draw, Ed McGuinness, for example, big influence on me. Even though I always had like that animation, like, like thing, like I want to go that way. So when I saw J. Scott Campbell, which is basically, he took the Disney princesses and turned them into a comic book, I don't know, more palatable comic book style, that really like hit me the right way. Joe Madureira, not so much, because that was like anime. It's like, dude, this is just like a lot of exaggeration. And even though it looks cool, like he went by the rule of cool, I saw much structure with J. Scott Campbell. So I have to say J. Scott Campbell was a huge influence. But as I grew older, I started learning more about artists. I don't draw like him. I wish I did, but Bernie Wrightson is just like, this just blows my mind. It's like, how does he do that? So I'm right now at that stage. How does he do that, and how do I incorporate it to the style I have? So yeah, that would be, I said, Glenn Keane, J. Scott Campbell, Bernie Wrightson 3, 2 more, Alex Toth, also another guy who grabbed like the style of comic book and simplified it enough for it to be animatable. And not only that, but he made it so it could be animated limitly, which is harder to do well. So Alex Toth is also a giant in my book. And I'm a little bit sad that people don't see the scope of what he did, because he basically merged something that shouldn't be merged. Like, we're not to be, as an animator, you're not supposed to be animating Spider-Man. It's just, why would you do that to yourself? Yeah, because I mean, doing like his costume has like that webbing.
Mhm.
Moving structures like that properly, it's a nightmare. Like animators will hire a hitman if you as a producer come up like, hey, we need to do this. It's just you don't do that. And Alex Toth found a way to say, okay, this is a way we could do this. So that's a guy that should be everybody should have an altar with candles and fruit for Alex Toth. And let's see, one last one. I have to say Wally Waterman from the Walt Disney Studios. That's one of the guys who developed the okay guys. Living things have bones and structure, so let's add elbows and knees. Because before that, it was all like rubber hosing, like Felix the Cat. So this is one of the first guys to say, like, how do we illustrate bone structure and anatomy and incorporate it into animation? Like you see, his best work is in Snow White, for example. Before Snow White, Snow White was called Disney Fall. Like they're going to make an animated feature. So Wally Waterman was one of the 9 old men who basically helped Walt to develop that. So yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna mute now.
Marvy says there's a weird sound right now. Yeah, the cicada is all the way from Panama, Marvy. Like crickets, they're out there just chirping away, like a whistling sound.
And they are singing in Spanish too, so it's even more confusing.
We have no idea of their song. Yeah, Jens, you've got stuff running on your backboard there. What's up?
What? No, that's just random pages, unpublished random pages from Bunny.
I got you. I thought I saw a Not Brand. You were probably showing the show then. There was a Not Brandette cover up there for a second. So
no, there wasn't.
My imagination.
Yeah.
Who are some of your influences?
My influences. Well, I'm not an artist. I'm a writer, a storyteller. But from the comic book media, the huge influences in storytelling is Don Rosa with Donald Duck and the stories there.
Okay.
That's because I have always escaped things getting popular. I have always escaped in my life everything getting mainstream. I have always seeked up special stuff, rule-breaking stuff that's still clever, like Tarantino. Well, he is mainstream, but he is still rule-breaking. And so I believe Don Rosa with Uncle Scrooge and Donald Duck and all those stories, it's very mainstream. You can't get any more mainstream than picking up a Donald Duck comic book. But he's rule-breaking it cleverly. And all those silly, clever, continuous background stories, visual, just showing stuff. I just love it. It's just the levels, the layers of storytelling. And so when I say I always try to avoid what is mainstream, my biggest influence in storytelling is George Lucas, Star Wars. You don't get it any better, in my opinion. That's the thing, because you can casually pick up a Star Wars movie, watch it, and say, "Wow, that was good." But there are so many layers. There are so many layers, especially in the original trilogy. It's insane how many layers it is. It's great. Other influences, beside the Blast Wave comic, but that's not more the influence of the storytelling, that's the influence of the author. That will be, let me show you. Hold on.
Berserko's in the house. Glad you're here, buddy.
Did he mention Donald Duck? And he's right. The thing is, like, you see it in the playfulness of the roster of characters. Because you don't see it with Mickey Mouse.
I just got it. I have tracked down my childhood sweetheart.
Hang on, I gotta blow that up. Candy.
Whoa, candy.
Candy.
Oh, dude.
I found it on Amazon.
Yeah. Dude,
And
that series
and
was
the
huge down
art
here.
and the voice and the everything is totally bullshit crap today's
Yeah.
standard. But back then, it was the first anime. It was the first manga. And but what is so catching about this extreme rare jewelry is the storytelling, the layers, the hurt, the pain, the heartbreaking, emotional. I sit as an adult with tear in my eyes as a grown man watching a kid show about a little blonde girl and her life, but it's so wow. And you put that to kids? Well, you have to be there to understand it.
Oh,
You know
dude.
her.
Yeah, dude. Like I saw Candy. I hated her. All his boyfriends died for some reason. Oh, but yeah, dude. Like, if you want to see a tearjerker from Japan, there's this. I mean, it was called like La Ranita de Metan. It was like a little frog that lost his mother and then lost his father, and there was like a gangster. Like, it was, dude. Everybody died every episode. It's just like,
We have that here on TV. It's called Breaking Bad.
yeah, exactly. It's that. And dude, like
Yeah.
you see it in the frog is cute and everything's cute, but there's like this like lobster enforcer that's smashing people with his claws. It's like, why is this for kids? I don't know. Yeah, dude, but
I
Candy,
totally forgot about that one, gents.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
Candy, dude, that's memories. You had Candy, you had Angel, the flower girl, because this are anime for girls, and dude, I'm not judging you at all. Like, it's a very compelling story. And it's like
It
during
is.
World War One, and like those guys were fighting in the war and dying, and she's like waiting for them. It's just like, dude, this is very like heavy topics.
It is.
That's the cool thing about influences, though. They don't have to stick to the lane that you're in. They could be from anywhere, and you bring that influence into your work and apply it.
Exactly.
And if you can see it, that's the key, and that's what helps make your interpretation of that helps make your work unique and special.
Exactly.
Individual.
It's awesome.
Otherwise,
Man.
you will just get stuck in the same routine.
Yeah.
And with all respect, I love Marvel movies, but they are stuck in the same routine.
Yeah.
Well, that's the fault of the modern studio system. So they want to just keep printing the same money that they got before. So
Yeah.
that's it. In fact, in my opinion, Marvel swung a little too far out into the esoteric. Let's see if we can do this. Let's see if we can do that. And they should have stuck. They should have kept some of their icons. I mean, there was nothing more Marvel to me than at the start of Civil War when Captain America's running across that boat and he ends up fighting Batroc and he's throwing that shield all over the place. That's just pure greatness to me. You know.
So Randy, I'm sharing my screen right now. If you guys want to see a tearjerker, it's called Demetan Croaker in English.
There we are.
Just look it up. And dude, it's proto anime, so it does not follow the rules of anime yet because this is very old. So it's just animation from Japan. But dude, the story is just like, dude, this is not for kids, but you might enjoy it because at that time they had like Maya the Bee, Demetan Croaker, so they had all this like anthropomorphic like series that were running alongside Candy. So it's from the same time. So,
wow. I need to pick that up.
Yeah.
But you say it's Japanese?
It's Japanese, yeah.
Doesn't look like it.
Demetan.
No, it doesn't. It's long before the anime style.
It's look European to my eye.
Oh, the thing is, like at that time, there's a lot of co-productions with France mostly.
Yeah. France and Japan there. Yeah.
So that maybe that's why you're picking that up. But yeah, at that time, like the Japanese were learning the craft, so they were trying to emulate Disney. So Osamu Tezuka did like Astro Boy, and then you get like Marine Boy and all the copycats of Astro Boy. And then you start getting series like this because they want to cater to all styles of people. But then when you get like Giant Robo and the Super Mecha craze, that destroyed all this other like style of anime, and then it become niche. Yeah. So all those guys went to manga, like that kind of stories like Candy, and you find like here and there several like series. But I mean, you're talking about a time like mid 70s, early 80s. that's what when Candy came about. And at that time, the Japan Animation was a bigger like fan of options. But yeah, dude, really
Speaking
cool.
of France and Japan,
Yeah.
one of my
okay.
very first DVD I ever brought was the Interstellar 5555 with Daft Punk.
Oh, nice.
You know that?
Yeah. That's what the video that's emulating the Captain Harlock animation, right? That anime with the blue people. Yeah,
that was my real introduction to anime. As the streaming services picked up Galaxy Express, $9.99, and there was Harlock and this train flying through space. I said, "This is cool. This is just awesome stuff."
Oh yeah, dude. And the things that you got, like Captain Harlock, you have
Esmeralda was in there. Yeah,
Esmeralda. Yeah. You have like Star Blazers, was called in the US. We call it a Battleship Yamato down here.
Battleship Yamato.
Yeah. And
the stuff.
And then you have like copycats, because that's the thing with Japan. If one series was good, then you get like 9 that look like that. So you get like Blue Noir, like Space Force, Blue Noir.
American comics are the same thing. You got to go with the money flows.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the sad thing. When I go to a cosplay convention here in Sweden, I don't see any Candy, but I see very many Sandra Bell.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was a direct ripoff. But
exactly.
she did better in the Nordic than Candy did, unfortunately.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't see it as a ripoff, because they get like inspiration from each other. And that's the thing. Like, maybe you'll see that series and people will get interested in the genre and they'll discover Candy like that. Yeah. So it's not really like a bad thing.
No, and it's like Jens is mentioning Don Rosa's DuckTales. To me, when you mention DuckTales, it's all Carl Barks. Carl Barks is one of my big influences. He really laid the foundation for a lot of the anthropomorphic funny animal stories that came after. Just some incredible, especially adventure style. Him and Gutferson in the Mickey Mouse comic strip.
Yeah,
just went and took, I think, storytelling with funny animals to a higher level. Yeah. And I think Rosa is a part of that. Also, Pedro, when you talk about Wrightson, you can't talk about Wrightson without going before Wrightson. Wrightson's influence was obviously Ghastly Graham Ingalls on those beautiful EC books. We'll take a look at some of those and our Comics by Night here eventually, especially in October. I think we're going to focus on horror. All depends on how long it takes us to get through Watchmen. But anyway, that's in a couple of weeks. But Graham Ingalls, you could see started this set an entire feel for horror with his phenomenal inking style. Just a lot of solid blacks, a lot of beautiful brushwork. And I'm sure all of that came out of the pulp illustrations that from the 20s and 30s, Virgil Finlay and those artists. We covered them last episode here on Sunday Funnies. So that all of these influences all are like a gigantic set of dominoes. One tips over the next, that tips over the next, that tips over the next. And that's where we are, here. We can look at our style and the way that we draw or the way that we write and look at different influences as we that makes our art what it is. Allison, how are you?
I'm awake.
Awake.
You want to wake up? Because my dogs just joined the cicadas.
I was just thinking about the Leiji Matsumoto stuff. Because Space Battleship Yamato failed in Japan initially. It was like a terrible failure. It wasn't until they basically redid all the episodes as a movie that it got some traction.
Yeah, the same thing happened to Gundam. Gundam wasn't that like successful in the beginning. Then when they came with the Gunpla, people were like, "Ooh, Gundam!" But yeah, it takes some.
Then they made the second movie where they killed everybody. And they're like, oh, wait, this is doing well. And they made the second season that changed the ending. And when it came over here, they redid it as Star Blazers and stuff. So.
And it ran for a long, long time.
Dude, the theme song for Battleship Yamato was my anthem. Like I stood up and put my hand on my chest and everything. Like it's just very inspiring.
Doing the
Yeah,
salute.
it's just like, dude, yeah, it's awesome.
Oh,
I
I,
feel-
have a funny story about that. I
I
was driving.
feel the
from-
same way. I feel the same way about the opening for Johnny Quest. Go ahead, Ellis.
I was driving to a gaming store, and I had my radio going, and I was playing some anime music. I was playing the theme song to the second season of Attack on Titan, and I was passing by a construction area, and one of the police officers heard the chorus go off, and he gave the salute for Attack on Titan.
How cool!
Dude, that's a very dramatic song, though.
Oh, yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really funny because right when the chorus goes is when all the characters do the salute, and he literally turned and did the whole thing. He had his hand behind his back and the other one up. It was hilarious.
You never know who you're going to find out in the wild.
I wasn't even blasting the music that loud either. So.
That's one of the universe I don't want to be.
You heard it
part
enough,
of.
though. Yeah.
Like you see like animes like or stories like that would be nice to be there. Not Attack on Titan. Just like
Oh,
no.
what we lose? I didn't mean to
Hey.
knock you out there, Ellison.
Yeah.
Did you drop? Did
Nope,
you drop
did not.
yourself, or did I do it? I'm
You
sorry.
did it. I
Sorry.
brought myself back.
Red card.
Appreciate that.
She said something. What was
Yeah,
it,
no, it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, that's what I get for talking about anime.
No, I hit the wrong button.
Hey, what's up, Dan? How you doing?
Anyway, didn't mean to interrupt the conversation. Go ahead.
Nah, it's all right.
That's cool.
It's dead. It's dead now.
It's dead now. It's all
Then when you
gone.
throw me
Yeah.
to the back room, I see how
Yeah. My first manga
Oh, okay.
was I Saw It,
Hmm.
that Eclipse reprinted, and I can't recall the name, but he ended up doing Barefoot Gen.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a autobiography of a person's experience with oh, now I blanked on the city, but the first atomic bomb dropping on
Oh,
Hiroshima.
isn't
Hiroshima.
it Den of the Fireflies?
No, Grave of the
No.
Fireflies is about the firebombings of Tokyo.
The firebombing. The firebombing
That's
in Tokyo. Yeah.
That's Miyazaki.
Yes.
Well, it's actually his partner.
His
Okay.
partner, yeah.
It's Studio
So,
Ghibli.
Studio Ghibli.
yeah.
Anyway,
Ghibli,
yeah.
but Miyazaki didn't direct that one, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the Barefoot Gen is about the bombing of Hiroshima, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I don't think it's Nagasaki. I believe it's Hiroshima.
Hiroshima. Okay, I
I'd have to double check it. It's been a while since I've read it.
think it was whoever was
Yeah.
first. So yeah,
Yeah, Hiroshima was
Yeah,
first.
Hiroshima was the first one. Yeah.
because just the sheer horror of it was, that should be
Oh,
required
yeah.
reading to every kid in school. I think, even though it's so graphic, it's
Yeah.
a
It's
very
like,
personal, perspective work.
Is this? I've not read that one, but it's the same thing with Mouse, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Very much
that,
so.
that
Mouse
should
is
be.
far
The kids should have
The
to
book.
see that.
yeah.
The what?
You know,
I had to read it
Mouse.
in high school.
Mouse.
Yeah.
M-A-U-S.
Art
Mouse.
Spiegelman, M-A-U-S.
Spiegelman.
Art Spiegelman's Holocaust story. It's
Yeah.
beautiful
Oh,
and,
Never heard about
and
it.
terrifying.
Oh, Jens, you need to look that up. There's two
Yeah.
volumes of it.
It's
First
a must
volume
read.
is
Mhm.
pardon?
Yeah,
It's-
dude.
yeah,
Let
it's,
me,
it's a must read.
It's usually found in the
M.A.
literary section of most bookstores.
Probably, yeah.
there's mouse. Just
Mouse.
like
M-A-U-S.
Yeah,
M.A.U.S.
German
spelling
for mouse.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's his version, or it's his experience, his grandfather's, I believe,
Yeah,
experiences of the
grandfather's
Holocaust.
Yep.
All the Jews are mice, all the
Nazi
Germans,
cats.
Nazis are cats.
Or cats.
And there's
oh,
dogs and-
I know. Yeah,
there.
There you go.
yeah. There's
That
a bell
cover-
ringing now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
the,
cover will not be approved today.
What was it?
Just saying.
Americans are bulldogs. The French are frogs. It's
Yeah.
very stereotypical anthropomorphism. And it's interesting. It's a very interesting book.
Huh.
It's
Yeah.
as I said, it's beautiful and terrifying.
Won a Pulitzer, I believe, prize. One of the
Yeah, I believe it
only comics to do that
I believe
because
so.
of the importance of the work.
So, one of my first mangas.
Hang on.
What's that?
Oh, Macross.
Macross.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is the English adaptation of Macross from I think it's
Mm.
Comico.
Kamiko, yeah.
Yep.
Rebecca. Yeah, dude, that's another song that I just have to stand up. Whenever I say like Harmony Gold presents, sorry, everyone.
I literally have a bag full of Robotech and Macross comics right
Yeah.
now. So,
Yeah, dude. The things like, yeah, like people can say like, yeah, Macros is the original, but dude, I got exposed to Robotech first, so that's
Yeah, I
why I
was-
hold a dear place in my heart. But I know it's like 3 different animes. Like, how do we make this make sense? And they came up with all like protoculture and the inbit and the reflex points. Like,
and it didn't work. But hey,
it didn't work. It didn't work at all. We're waiting for Rick Hunter. Sure you are.
but it was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, when it comes to manga and anime, I never got into the mechas. I was always
Yeah,
a
dude.
big fan of stumbled across Nausicaa, Warrior of the
Mhm.
Wind, actually, when who was it? Wes Craven did a bad English adaptation of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
Wind
Wind.
of Warriors of the Wind. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Warriors, and ended up
that was
picking up the Viz animes or
Mm.
mangas of that. It's just
Yeah,
amazing.
but Nausicaa was very
Four,
like a
5
brainy.
volumes.
Yeah, Nausicaa
Yeah.
was a very like brainy story,
Yeah,
you know. But as a kid, for example, like I don't know, since we don't have any production down here, like we don't produce animation, all we had was canned things, and it was mostly anime. So I grew up watching like Giant Robot, watching Super Magnetron,
Voltron.
Messenger Z. Voltron came afterwards. Like I was
Okay.
already old. Because the
Yeah.
thing is, like, it was cheaper to get anime translated in Chile. In the studio, they didn't know Japanese, so they just made up everything. And
they did
we
that
get
in English
all
too.
yeah, we get all like great series that never aired in the US. For example, we got like the Fuel Saint Seiya series. Not
Mhm.
like you got like 80 episodes. We got like the whole full thing.
Okay.
So Saint Seiya is huge down here, as opposed to the US. But that's
Yeah.
like way after Dragon Ball or whatever. But in the 80s, it was like Messenger C was king, Grandizer was king.
Yeah, we had those here.
Yeah, Super Magnetron. There was a guy who put his fist together. Steel Jig was huge down here. Like everybody, all the kids were like, "Yeah, I'm Steel Jig," and putting their fists together. Like he used to turn into the head of the robot.
There's always young Samson for us up here.
Yeah, exactly.
With Alex Tuck, yeah,
Samson.
just a-
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like I don't know, our consumption of that kind of thing, it's very influenced by anime in Latin America because of that. Like we love Batman, we love like Superman, all that stuff, but it was really hard to get the comics down here. So it was more like, I wish I could get my hands on Superman. Oh, still Jiggy's on. So that's kind of like weird. Like I educated myself in comics when I could afford them. So yeah, when I got older.
Have you by any chance watched the show Minority for eller Kuromoko? There's on Netflix.
On Netflix, which one?
On Netflix, they have an anime there, Kuromoko. It's essential. It's the future now in 2 days, and we have those mecha living around us. But the only warrior who is powerful enough to figure out how to use this and how to beat the bad guys from space is a frozen samurai who has been frozen and come to our time. You have seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's hilarious. I just
hilarious.
love the way he's trying to figure out the new world he's in.
Yeah.
And
The thing with Kuromoko is like it does that combination like CGI and classical animation, which I hate
it has everything.
as an animator. I hate it as an animator. Like I don't like mixing CGI with classical. It's just like, dude.
Okay, from a viewer perspective, it's perfect.
Yeah, I get it. The thing is, like, to me, it's just like lazy. But that's me. I'm a curmudgeon at almost 50 and been in the animation industry for 25 years. There's things that just rub me the wrong way, and that combination does it. Like I know it's me. It's a me problem. So don't worry about that. But the thing is, like that Kuromoko reminds me of Tekken. And I don't know if you've seen that series. Tekken was like late 80s, and the mechs look very similar to Kuromoko. But they're hand drawn, and they fight this civilization they called like the spider crabs. And dude, it's kind of like the same, like a guy out of time that has come to save everybody, and he's the only one who can basically use the technology of Peckerman. So yeah, that kind of like reminded me of that. Really cool.
Mostly Retro says my main influences is probably John Byrne. I have a lot of others, but some of my favorites include Alan Davis, Mark Schultz, Cam Kennedy, and Mobius.
Oh, Mobius is another one.
No,
Still
Mobius,
digging
yeah.
Steve Mannion's work lately as well.
And
Yeah,
Mobius.
I've got Cam Kennedy and Mobius on my list.
Go ahead, give us your list, Glenn.
Well,
Yeah. All right, man.
my list is just, I don't see how you can, I don't know whether I could pin it down to 5 to save my life.
I hear you.
But I'll start with Mort Drucker at number 5 for his caricature style, and I just love looking at his work, especially obviously when he's doing the films that he the adaptation of the films he does, like the Saturday Night Fever and whatever you want to mention. And then I mean with Russ on Joe Sinnott for the way he can. I mean, Russ said it before, the way that you can tell it's Joe Sinnott who's inked it, but the pencil still shines through, which is really important, as we all know as inkers. You can't swamp the pencils beneath. And then I've got to Mobius and another European artist, that's Serpieri, that I'd love to do a Comics by Night show on, but I don't think we could, because basically his work is pornographic, basically.
That's AXA or it's
no.
What did Serpieri do?
Druna,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Serpieri has a grasp of anatomy.
Yeah.
That's like compared to none. That guy's a beast. But he's adult.
It's beautiful artwork. It's just beautiful artwork,
Oh yeah.
And then in second, these are all joint. In second, I've got Frank Bellamy, Thunderbird's artist. Beautiful line work, fantastic color. I think he influenced my coloring more than anything.
Yeah.
And his artwork is like, it's not like Steve Ditko, but it's jarring like Steve Ditko's is. There's a I don't know how to explain it. There's a cartoony realism. There's a
that's odd. That's odd that you'd say that, because I don't see any comparison between Bellamy and Ditko. It's like two completely different.
They are,
and
but
it looks like two completely different set of influences as well.
Yes, but they jar.
Yeah,
like each other. They're not like each other, but they have that jarring effect on me.
Okay.
And like Ron Embleton as well, another British artist you may have seen. He did Stingray in TV21, but he's what I would describe as a classic artist. He's a painter, really.
Stingray.
He isn't really a comics artist. I don't think he just does comics as well. Or he did, and then of course you get to my hero Jack Kirby. He's number 1. And then not far behind, you've got Wally Wood, John Romita, John Buscema, Will Eisner, Ditko, any number of. I just can't pin it down to 5. But I suppose if I had to, Kirby would be the number 1
always on top,
as we always cover, for his storytelling, his creativity, just his genius. I'd call him a genius. I'd put Kirby's artwork up there with the fine art with Leonardo and all those people. A different kind of thing, different genre, which is a word I hate, but we all seem to use. But I would put him up there as high art Kirby, and he's my main influence, because as an artist, or us artists here, we all go. I think we've probably all been through that 6 months where we tried to draw like Kirby, and we did, but we didn't know what he was doing underneath. And when you get past the style and what he's actually doing, the same with Eisner. You look at his style; it's very cartoony. It's beautiful to look at. And you try and draw things like he does. You draw bricks like he does. You draw rain like he does. I certainly did, emulated rain like Will Eisner drew. I just love the way that when he draws those New York scenes that everybody's soaking wet through. Beautifully done. But you've got to learn, and hopefully we all did, you've got to learn what he's doing, which is underneath the line. The line is what we see. You've got, but these people like Kirby, there's an energy, and that's the way they're showing the energy. You've got to get under the line, so to speak. I'm sure you understand what I mean. But I would always put Kirby at number 1 for my influence, because he's He just does he creates, he designs, he tells a story, he does everything.
And not only that, like Kirby's one of
I
those
think
guys who
that's
invented
just-
a film language, basically like a graphic language.
Yeah.
When you see
Yeah.
Kirby art, he's communicating, and you know it's Kirby. And you see
Yeah.
people with influences of Kirby, you know, like, okay, you're trying to do Kirby. And that's like the highest praise you can get as an artist. When people like see your style on other artists or wherever they see it, they say your name, and that's something that he accomplished. That's something that Will Eisner accomplished, and that's something that Bernie Wrightson also accomplished. Like, whenever I see Bernie Wrightson, I don't know, you mentioned and I have to investigate because I don't know the artist. No, I'm educating myself, Randy. Like who influenced Bernie?
Graham Ingalls. Yeah.
Graham Ingalls. But when I see Bernie Wrightson's art, I know it's Bernie Wrightson's art.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know
yeah,
it.
yeah. Yep.
And that's something that's all what we strive as artists. Like when people see our work and recognize it immediately, and they see our influence on other artists. And dude, Kirby is just a giant in that regard.
Pedro's absolutely right. You strive to be for someone to say that's a Pedro Ang or that's a Russ Leach, or that's a Glenn Fleming.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. See, it doesn't matter whether they can see the influences of other artists. They can see you at a glance, and it's like seeing Sinnott's work or Buscema's work, where you can just or Wrightson or Kirby, whatever, you can pick it out and you can spot people who are trying to emulate them.
Exactly.
It's so easy to spot them.
Exactly right.
Even if they do it really well, you can still spot them.
Yeah.
For instance, I've seen several really good artists emulating Buscema, and they've done it extraordinarily well. But you can see that it's.
But they don't say their name; they say Buscema.
Exactly. And
that's
I
the
don't.
bottom line.
And as much as I love Buscema, I wouldn't want anybody to be saying, "Oh, you're just trying to copy him. You're just trying to clone him."
Exactly.
He's an inspiration, not someone to copy.
Yeah, it feels a little bit dirty when they tell you that.
Yeah.
I showed in the Kirby book, and I'm gonna take this as a this is brilliant for me. In the Kirby book, I showed the 2 pages of The Succession, which is a science fiction story I should finish someday. And I showed him to Jack, and Jack Kirby said to me, "You see what I see." And he wasn't talking about the style I draw in, because it's nothing like Kirby, I don't think. But it was, I was so pleased, and I'm so proud that such a person as he, and I don't think he was just saying it. I don't think he would do that kind of thing. He said to me, I think he recognized or saw the energy below the line, which is what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you all know what I think about Jack Kirby. I can't tell you all how that makes me feel. And I'm not showing off or anything like that. He said that to me. I showed him that work. It's in the book. You've seen it, Randy.
Yeah.
And well, I can't disagree with him, can I? I can't say,
No.
he's that was wonderful. And
Well, he's got that perspective, you know. He says you see things the way that I see things. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and
that's a compliment that you can only give people who are in the know. Because if he says that to a layman, it was like, see what?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But if you are like I say, like vibing with what he's doing, you're going to completely understand. So it's a compliment you only give to people who know what he's talking about.
Well, as I said earlier, I couldn't. I probably could if I had to, but I'd struggle to get down a top 5 because there's so many different kinds of influences, and we all influence each other, don't we? In everything that we do, every second of the day, we're all influence the world. All of us do that. But to go and see this, and we've been so blessed. I've said before with this artwork we've had. We've been so blessed, but we were sort of at the beginning of it. I know it's this past 100 years, but we're at the beginning of it, and we've seen, well, up till now, we've seen the very best, and we are so blessed to have done that. The same with the music. Just to go off at a tangent, with the music we had in the 70s and 80s, it's the best, and I feel really blessed that I've lived through this time and been able to see these things and meet some of these people.
Yeah,
that's
very important, Randy. Like now, we're just like one click away from watching great art.
Yeah,
20 years ago, it was like, dude, you need to go to a museum.
Oh yeah,
or you need to go to a library, or you need to go to a bookstore and buy the book. Like right now, we're just a click away.
Well, that's the best thing about the internet, isn't it? That we can get all that knowledge immediately. I mean, I suspect a lot of people still don't read, but whereas 20 years ago, 25 years ago, you'd have to go over to the go to the library to get some kind of book, and now you can get it instantly.
That's why we have all the books we've got.
That's
That
right.
is
Well, I've got a few
pre-internet.
there. I've got a few there as well.
Yeah.
One of the main problems in Panama is people don't read enough and people don't drink enough water.
Yeah.
Right. About tequila.
So familiar, dude. America.
All
Actually,
this reminds-
we're a rum country, sir. I
Right.
resent that tequila remark. No, we don't have agave. We had agave pineapples here. We'll be like loading a tequila, but we do sugarcane really well here, so it's rum.
Rum.
Oh,
Okay.
bloody hell.
Somebody's
Sorry.
got an Who was that? That was Russ. Somebody got a blast from the emergency broadcast
Water
system.
me. Yeah, the purge is
It-
starting.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we're all going to die.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
What's it all about, that thing, anyway?
It's just an
Anyway, Glenn,
emergency alert.
Glenn, all that talk reminds me of the kind of feeling that you're describing that I get first time I was looking at Frank Miller's Sin City.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the depth in the art, and the storytelling is more art than the art, and the art is more storytelling than the storytelling. It's just a combination that wow. And that,
Well, that's
the
the-
same
that's the-
thing you are describing. It's just too perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the beautiful thing about art. I'm talking about music and drawing and painting and whatever, is the emotional level that it should reach you on. I mean, even if you don't like it, there's an emotional level to be reached, and that's what these people I've mentioned, Mobius and Bellamy and Kirby, that's what they do to me.
Oh, dude.
Candy. Yeah.
And the same with music. I could point a million people in music that they
Dude, and the things that
it's a vibration.
Yeah, the thing with Mobius is that he lived through a period of time, like when Jodorowsky got this roster of artists to make his version of Dune that never got filmed. He got Jodorowsky, he got freaking H.R. Geiger.
Geiger.
Oh.
Yeah. Pulled
Geiger.
William Stout in. There's
Stout,
Sid Mead.
all
Yeah.
the guys who basically change cinema with their designs. Work for Jodorowsky, and Mobius is part of that.
All of these artists that changed our perception of science fiction and fantasy and movies in the 80s just shifted everything completely. That are all guys that Jodorowsky found. Yeah, Mobius was a big one among those.
I think it's great the way these people, it's like Lennon and McCartney. I think it's great the way they're fighting each other to be better.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no animosity behind what they're doing. It's just that I've got to, I remember reading about John Lennon taking Strawberry Field into the studio. They all worked on it. It's brilliant. And Paul McCartney, back of his head, said, "I'm not having this. I'm not happy with this." And he came in with Penny Lane. There's that kind of fighting going, that conflict going on. And if you think about all the artists we've mentioned, like I said, we're all influenced by everybody, and it must be. I can't imagine what it must have been like in the so-called bullpen in the 60s. All the artwork coming in. And I've said to you before on another podcast, Joe Sinnott said in an interview, he did a lot of Kirby work, as you know. When he would lose an hour of his working day when he got a package from Stan Lee with Kirby with their Fantastic Four, because he would just look at it for an hour.
I think everybody would.
Everybody would, but he just would look at it for an hour. And this is what you have to strive for. You have to try and move people on an emotional level with your work as an artist. And
also, that's another thing. That's another thing that Dead Community is giving us is that the whole concept, like steel sharpens steel. Like when you get like this rapport with other artists, you see what they're doing, they see what you're doing. Yeah. They might have comments on your work. You might receive them well or not. Because, dude, we're all human, and friction is going to develop. But I've seen a lot of people who are part of this community right now, call it CG or call it whatever, who have like improved in leaps and bounds just because we're having this rapport. Check out what I'm doing. Oh, this is what you're doing. And dude, this is something that it's more valuable than gold right now, because we are developing basically a petri dish. Who's going to develop amazing artists for the next decades, man. It's awesome.
That's why I love doing these kind of shows, because you're talking about influences. You're pointing listeners or whoever's around into other places to look at other people, other things, and to be influenced by them as well. It's just part of the fun of this art form.
I also think that not in a negative way, but you can also look at artwork and music and listen to music and decide that you won't draw like that. Or sing. Do you understand what I mean? So you get, this is what I was talking about, influencing all the time in every way, because influences can be good or bad, or maybe they're not good or bad. Maybe they're just influences.
I stopped using a crow quill pen pretty quickly once I looked at Vinnie Coletta's stuff. Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't let Vinnie influence you like that.
But on the other hand, you look at, for me, in inking, Murphy Anderson or Alex Raymond, just beautiful brushwork, just full command of that brush. Just amazing work.
Well, I tell you, Mobius, I saw Mobius doing his lettering with a brush. And you think, it's time to just
showing off,
sit in the corner, and bang your head on the wall. But that's just
control.
Incredible.
That's what it is. Knowing your tool. Yeah.
That's just genius. That
it is.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Like, all this contact, like, some people are there already, others are not. Like, I've noticed a lot of people are doing like the whole, like, okay, people want the 90s style, and they try to adapt how they draw to cater to that need. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say that's wrong, but I don't say it's going to take you more time to develop your own style if you handle it yourself like that.
I can say it. It's wrong. Yeah.
Because
especially working in alternative and independent comics, you should be doing your own style. You shouldn't be trying. That's part of the hassle with the corporate editors.
Yeah,
you need to look like so and so. You need to look like so.
I got my first positive response from Marvel in '95 before they filed for Chapter 11, and we were doing snail mail back then. I mean, everything took forever to go backwards and forwards, and I got a positive response from the new talent manager. They used to have a new talent manager then. And he said he'd passed my stuff around the editors, and we already had some Brits working over there. It didn't work out for me. Nothing happened in the end. And I got that first. I sent him some artwork. He sent me a script back, and I basically tried to draw like Jim Lee. Okay, because everybody did at the time. All right, so there's lots of strike lines and stuff, and it's quite sort of graphic looking, and they said, yeah, we really love what you're doing there, and he said, yeah, we're going to pass you stuff around. It never happened in the end. I'm glad it didn't. I know that sounds really stupid, but it was what it was. I went off and had a career in production, and I was an art director and what have you, and
dude, like, I don't know.
I did a whole bunch of stuff, and I came back to illustration in 2010. So I've been in comic books since 2010. And I'd drawn on and off bits and pieces, obviously stayed in production. And I found that my maturity made a big difference. Yeah. I was able to take in, for instance, up until sort of around 2010, I didn't appreciate Jack Kirby. Okay. I was still thinking in the way that I was when I was younger, bringing out those comics. And it suddenly hit me. It hit me. Jack Kirby hit me. And then as soon as I realized just how bloody brilliant he was, suddenly I had more of an appreciation for Mike Mignola as well. And then I went out and found
Mike Mignola is another huge influence on me.
But a fantastic artist. I am nothing like Mike Mignola, but I look at his work and see the drama and the energy in it, and also the skill.
Yeah, so, his use of lighting, dude. How he lights.
Everything about it. So you can pick up stuff from all kinds of different artists. And just like Pedro was saying earlier, the most important thing is to develop your own style and be recognized for that. It's okay for people to see influences. It's okay for people to look at my style and go, oh, it's a bit Bronze Age, isn't it? But that's okay, because that's a very generic view of what I'm doing. Nobody's saying, oh, you're trying to copy that artist.
Yeah. And say you're Bronze Age, you're talking about hundreds of artists. Like,
like a huge number of artists. Yeah. And in actual fact, something else that I've found over the last 4 or 5 years, as I've been developing my maturity, as it were, looking at other artists and looking at the way things work, is that I now appreciate that one artist can have multiple variations on their style in order to complete a job, in order to complete a work, so that you make yourself able to do lots and lots of different genres and lots of different story types. And so people can still see underneath who that artist is and their style and the way that they are, but they affect it in a, they finish it off, they execute it finally in a slightly different manner. So I've got like my Only Death Can Save Us stuff going on. I pencil differently for, you know, things like Doctor Who. I penciled differently for Batman, and now with the stuff I'm doing with Randy with Cull, I'm penciling differently again. It's still me underneath there. Even I can look at it and go, yeah, I can see like there's certain things that I do that
Obviously,
they've formed out a habit.
Yeah,
And you can see it, but that doesn't mean that you can't execute it slightly differently.
One of the things that really drove that home.
Places.
Sorry, one of the things that really drove that home for me.
I need to leave now.
Jens.
Oh, Jens.
Take care, Jens. Pleasure, man.
We'll see you.
You can see my eyes. I can't keep them open.
Oh man, I'm sorry. We're boring you to tears. I'm so sorry, Jens. Make sure you check out Bunny on what is it on? Indiegogo?
Yeah, Indiegogo.
Indiegogo.
You got it on funnycomic.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, Raj.
Yeah.
Thank you for the gift.
No problem at all. It's like it's a great book, and you know, it deserves some space. So yeah, get out there and do it.
I will. Take care, everybody. Thank you for being on the show.
Yeah. We'll see you,
dude. We have a Spanish caballero on the chat. It's like his name is Efraín Jesus Untiveros Pizarro. It's like wow. So that name, like,
do
you want a horse, sir? Hey, what's up, Dan?
Legal says, hey, friend. Yeah, also.
One of the greatest things with all this is the inspiration, isn't it? Because you could be, like I said before, you can be inspired not to do something like somebody's done it, just as much as you can be inspired to do it, you know, to pick it up and you see some work. But when you go away, if I see a piece of work, if I look at Russ Leach's Only Death Can Save Us, which everybody should look at because it's brilliant, and I look at it, I'm not just saying that because it's here, it's true, and I look at it and I think this is great. I don't think I can draw better than that, but it will inspire me to draw something the way I draw it, but it won't be the same.
Exactly.
You know, and this is what I do. This is what, like earlier I said with Kirby and people like that. We all went through the little few months of drawing like Jack Kirby, and then you realize that your own style will always come through anyway in whatever you're doing. So you drop trying to draw like him and try and see the energy below what he's trying to do.
Stop fighting it.
Yeah, stop fighting. And that's the thing. It's like with the lighting and things like that. You don't try and find a panel that suits your panel with the lighting you want. You look at real lighting and why it happens, and then do that on top of it. And it won't look anything like what you like in the comic you've seen, but it will be brilliant because it's your work, your eyes. You know, that inspiration and influence from.
But that also takes a certain amount of self-confidence and belief. You have to believe that you're going to get it right. And the way to believe that you're going to get it right is to do it and do it often. And just keep doing it.
Don't be afraid of failing. Don't be.
Dude.
If you look at somebody like John Buscema, he was never without a pencil.
No.
All right. Now that's really in the modern world. If you've got a job anyway, and you're trying to draw comics, that's really hard to do, to have that pencil in your hand all the time. But it's something you must aspire to. So, you know, I don't have a pencil in my hand all the time. This is my job. Okay, I do it. I had 2 weeks of bloody posting books to people on the other side of the world. So the business angle of it does come in. You can't be drawing all the time, but aspire to do that. Aspire to make your skills better.
So my solution to that is that since I work in animation, if I'm not illustrating for comics, I'm illustrating for animations. I'm always drawing. But yeah, dude, like that's the thing. Like I don't want to say like having confidence in yourself can be turned into hubris, and that's something I've noticed more so in comic book artists, more so than in animation animators, and I'm not trying to say one is better than the other. That's not why I'm here. But it's just that, like in animation, they beat you upside the head. Like, dude, everybody has to draw the same character, so your style should be completely, I don't know, like has to disappear basically.
Right.
And that's one of the problems that as an animator I have. Like, dude, I'm always like, okay, so where's the model sheet?
Yes.
And even if it's my own book, I make model sheets for my own books, which seems like double work. But that's how, and they do like, Pedro, your files are very organized. Yeah, because I'm thinking about working with a team, even though I'm not.
Those model sheets come in handy anyway, and in unbelievably, unbelievable ways. Yeah.
30 years ago, I was drawing Postman Pat, and I had a model sheet for that. I had a Bible, so to speak, for that. Yeah. And that was really, really a challenge because Postman Pat artwork is nothing like I would draw. But to get the gig, I had to draw like they wanted me to. And this is what Russ was saying. Russ has had a career in graphic design and pretty much the same route as I've been on. And I'm going to say this, Russ can confirm this or not. I'm pretty sure that Russ will have had to illustrate something in a particular style that somebody wanted. It was nothing like the style that he wouldn't necessarily draw in. You know, we've probably all been like Pedro just saying about the animation thing. You've got to draw it in a certain style sometimes. Yeah. And that's the challenge, and that's the beauty of it. And you know, if you're prepared to take the challenge and just go for it, and don't be scared to fail. I failed. I was offered Charlie Chalk and My Little Pony to do, and I couldn't draw it to save my life.
Yeah,
I just couldn't draw My Little Pony. It's along with a Dalek. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to draw. A Dalek. I mean, I can't draw Daleks. You know, they're impossible.
They're a salt shaker with a
awful to draw.
They're a salt shaker with a plumber. With a plunger and a
with straw.
If I was fortunate enough to be given a Doctor Who story like Russ does, and Daleks were in it, I'm not sure I could do it. I'd have to get Russ to draw the Daleks for me.
Yeah, but there are shapes that don't come natural to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And dude, like I specialize in drawing technology. It's something that comes like easy to me. Like I can design robots, no problem. But dude, for example, like for my next project, before I even drew like layout 1 for the first page, I drew 46 different concepts just to get where I wanted to be. And it was like 3 weeks of work. And the things like now the world building is informed on how it's going to look, so I don't see it as wasted time. No, because now I'm drawing the pages. Like, let me.
Also, if you needed anyone else to fill in, they would have a good
exactly.
design. Yeah, I just thought I'd bring this up because as an example of exactly what you were saying, I followed a style guide. Yeah, and I had to make the comic pages look as much like the
Ben 10,
the animation as possible, the show as possible. So I'm following these guidelines, but I still used the same rule sets for storytelling, for anatomy, for everything that I would normally use. It's just the style, it's the output that's different. Okay, and you still have to read. So this is the same person drawing this as is drawing this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But what I see in the Ben 10 thing, and something I appreciate, I'm not bashing the thing.
Yeah.
You can tell it's not the guys who are doing the animation, even though it's on model, and you recognize like Ben, and you recognize all the characters and everything, even the line weights and the proportions of the design are respected. You still know that there's an artist behind this, and it's not that like machine thing that happens to animators. Yeah. And I really appreciate that, because it's like, okay, this is the things that make you think like, hey, I wouldn't have done that. That's cool.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's something that in animation is really hard, because you need to get like a team of 270 people doing a different thing. So it's harder.
Yeah,
you know. So it's really cool. There's really good action. Like, Randy, I'm sharing my screen right now. I just want to show you like all the things I do for my next project. So this is like my next project, and dude, I went with how I want the characters to look.
Mhm.
So it's chicks driving mechs. This is like a sidekick, and this is also all this
Primate support. I love that.
Yeah. And there's like, this is like the first attempt at designing a kaiju. Wasn't happy, so I dropped it. So now, like, these are the angels, waifus, and kaijus. I got like a preliminary level. These are the mechs. I went through like 4 different designs until I get this, because all the mechs have nationalities. So if I'm making an Irish mech, why would I make it Irish? At first, I was trying to do that, but then I started doing like that Gundam thing that when they put like a Mexican sombrero on that, like, no, that's gonna get like, yeah. So I scrapped that, and it's like, okay, just color screens. So this is like the Irish pilot, and then just doing like, posing, like how are they gonna fight, and you see like the drawing and the needs of the drawing started informing the story. Like, why are they chosen? Why are these ladies chosen to drive the mechs? I was like, they're Olympians. So they use like kind of sort of like Olympic style weaponry because they're very agile, and that's like, and this is how they will get on top of the mechs and see different like posting. Like, this is all studies before I draw layout 1.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is the Spanish pilot, and he's all obviously a bullfighter. So he drives a bull robot.
Sure.
And he has the cape and the sword and whatnot. So this is another like American mech. He's from Texas, obviously. So
Obviously.
Yeah, the
and
Texas flag. That's nice.
yeah,
That's cool.
he's a boxer, and it's Tyrese Watson. So he's like a Mike Tyson style fighter. So it's a boxing mech. And that's the thing. Like, I come up with the concept. These are like the aliens who bring the technology to Earth, and I got inspiration. The writer really told me, like, let's go full Power Ranger. So that's what we did. And these are like the commentators for the thing. So you see, all this work is done before doing layout 1.
Sure.
And that's something that will help you inform, will help you with the world building, because you know how things look. Like, for example, this is an alien mech, and it looks like this for a reason of their culture and how they interpret life. And that's Joe Rogan, but that's part of the story. So this is the Korean mech, and it's driven by the lady in the glasses. And then this is like obviously the Japanese mech, and I think I have the pilot for him over here. So I went with the whole samurai, like very like slim, like agile thing. Is so like, can you make him like, they were like, can you make it bulkier? And I didn't like him bulkier, so. But these are all decisions that you shouldn't be making when you're making the layouts. You know what I mean? Like, so this is the American mech that the black lady drives. Her name's like Jackie Harris. This is basically like the human interpretation of the alien mech. So this is like the training mechs. That's where everybody like learns. So I would say, like, how would a military organization would interpret the mech you saw before? So it's like it's a Gatling guns and like grenade launchers, and basically trying to copy the anatomy, but it's just like an interpretation of the alien mech. And then like, yeah, that's the thing. Like,
It's
you
nice.
go through
I want
all
this
that.
book.
Yeah.
And this is like the military training from Ireland. This is basically like the aunt of the lady you saw before. This is the father of the black lady, Lieutenant Eugene Harris, and he's like a Warthog pilot. He lost an arm defending Earth from the first invasion. And see, this is all like post studies, like how would they move?
Yep.
Like, okay, so in the Olympic thing, like that floor event where they use a ribbon. And that's kind of like the weapon the Korean mech uses. So it's basically like a whip, like a bladed whip. And this is the mech from India called Rama. I think I have the pilot around here. Oh, this is the Chinese mech, and yeah, like again, everybody uses like Son Wukong, like Dragon Ball, like Goku. I use the pig god as an inspiration. So
Chat's starting to get away from us. Kirby is high art of the 20th century. Some of my favorite. Yeah.
So this is the
Awesome,
first design
Pedro.
for the body. And
Can't wait to
you
see the book.
Oh yeah. No, I'm already on page 20. But I mean, I know I'm taking a lot of time, and I apologize, but I just want to show you like how much work it goes before
Yeah.
we even go to script. And this is like the Chinese pilot, and this is like how the kaijus ended up looking like. And that's another thing. Like you saw the first one that was like an iguana with like technology on top of it. We went with techno-organic rocks. So this thing will interpret the DNA of your planet and will turn itself into a kaiju. So
When do you project this being out, Pedro?
We're planning to launch this in June. That's why we have like the Tropical Magic second chance to let people know we're still here. But we're working really hard, Ginger and I, to have this ready.
All right. Let's jump into the chat here. My influences lately are Alex Toth, John Paul Leon, Hugo Pratt, and various South American artists whose art is tough to find except from image searches online. Oh,
nice.
Hugo Pratt, that's Corto Maltese, right? There's ran across a reprint book of that the other day at the show. I was kind of surprised to see it. Badass story about Kirby, Glenn. That's how far back our chat's gone. I've got to go. Unfortunately, we have a great week, everyone. You too, Marvy. Hope you catch us on the rebound. See you. Frayne Hobbs says, sounds like Spanish accent.
Oh yeah, that's when I said like Efraín Jesus Otiveros.
Sounds like Spanish. Immortal Rising Comic Book says, I've been considering getting my comic translated into Spanish or Japanese. Yeah. I just took one of my comics and translated into Spanish. That was a week.
The thing with
I'm still waiting for corrections.
The thing with selling comics in Latin America is the price point. So you have to be really careful how you market it. Because as indie creators, like the price point is really high because we can't do volume. So, but there are collectors in Brazil, there are collectors in Argentina, there are collectors in Chile, there are collectors in Colombia. But getting connected in those circles, it's kind of hard. And I think I might talk to you guys because there's a book fair called Feria del Libro Corferias in Colombia, where there's a huge like comic book section. And mostly it's things from Marvel and DC and whatnot, but you see the Colombia collectors there, and that can give like fail. So I think through book fairs something could be done. And I've been giving this a lot of thought because that will involve me traveling through all of South America, but I need to get the books first.
Matt D in the house. Thanks, Matt. As a storyteller and writer, my strongest influences are Brian K. Vaughan, who I actually know who that is. Sean Murphy, Scott Snyder, Garth Ennis. Garth Ennis. Maxwell Prince and Kelly Sue DeConnick.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. Like Garth Ennis, like Enter 303 still floors me. Like I love that comic book.
As far as world building, pacing, well-crafted position go, I learned a lot from reading them and kept reading. Frame, Pedro, they are cool.
Thank you,
Bullfighter, Torero.
Yeah.
Pedro, I have invented a woman with a mecha suit similar to yours this week.
Awesome. Yeah, that's the thing.
That's cool. Yeah.
I have a bull mecha I made a while ago too. So I was kind of like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, dude, that's the thing. Like, what's this?
This is the design stuff that I'm doing for my manga that I do for my Patreon. I literally collect the art and I'll share it with my patrons as I'm going. But this is basically the design Bible that I built. Because
nice.
I'm also familiar with working in TV with animation and things. So, but this is my first design I did.
Dude, has a very like beautiful Joe.
Yeah,
so flavor to it. I like it. I like it a lot.
That was the second concept I kind of had for design.
Awesome.
And then I settled. Oh, this is the logo design. The way that it went from.
That elongated torso decision you're making there, like, really reminds me of like late 80s, early 90s, like anime, like Captain Harlock, that kind of like very elongated, almost like model, like clothing design proportions.
Yeah, I'm definitely influenced by Leiji Matsumoto. I mean,
Yeah,
also Masamune Shiro. I'm inspired by.
Yeah.
My biggest influence is, in a lot of ways, is probably was it Kazushiro Otomo. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
um,
very cool. Like this kind of designs really like lends itself to like dynamic action. Because I mean, like all the characters are very elegant, so everything you draw is going to look graceful. So
that's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to do. Yeah,
Pretty
I always
cool.
try to capitalize on something I learned from Kirby.
yeah,
Always make it look like it's in motion.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then,
That's one of the things we noticed when we went through the Alex Tothin design book that Glenn pointed out a lot of, is that the characters always looked natural. They were always
Yeah.
moving. There was always they weren't just standing straight still.
Yeah.
They were always in action.
Yeah, life is not static, man.
Yeah.
And here I drew a spaceship because I needed to know what the hell the thing looked like on all sides.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yep.
And I have a big version of it here.
That's quite the detail there. Yeah.
Yeah, this concept art is very important, as you guys know. I'm going to extend it to when you're writing. When I'm writing science fiction novels and stuff like that, you can't suddenly have your hero in a situation on page 150 and you suddenly decide he can fly.
Right.
You have to have a set parameter. You don't have to tell everybody what the person can do, but you can't suddenly get him into a situation and get them out by something they just suddenly develop.
Yeah.
You know, X-ray vision or something. You've got to it's got to be all that stuff's got to be fixed before you start writing. Like these drawings. These are good.
And not only that, like for example, like having spatial awareness of where your characters are actually helps you with the storytelling. Because if they're in the bridge of a ship, you have to know how the bridge looks, so you can basically set up the pacing, the action, and the acting.
Yes.
So that's something. All this
I had to think about the size of this. And
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm
the dimensions.
I'm working on some dimensions of the interior of it because I have an idea of what it looks like in my head. And I basically know that it's effectively like a shuttle. It's like a Quinjet, a little bit bigger than a Quinjet.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I designed it so it could actually fly in space. So I took the physics into account.
Nice. Yeah, that's the thing. Like that's the kind of nerd things that make people look at you funny. But in storytelling, it really helps a lot.
Yeah, technically wouldn't fly in atmosphere, but I don't care. So, but I designed it so it would fly in space.
Well, that's why the Apollo lunar module looks like it does, because it's the world's first spacecraft. It's not designed to come back into Earth. It was always designed to fly in space and land on the moon, and that was it. And that's why it's as basic and as structured as it is. It doesn't have to be aerodynamic or anything like that, because in space you can have, like you've got here, these odd wing type things. It doesn't matter where they are in space, because it's not designed to re-enter any atmosphere.
But the cool thing, the cool thing about what we're doing is that we're working with science fiction and not science fact. So we can always come up with a cockamamie technology that's just like, okay, this is what allows it to fly in the atmosphere. As long as you keep that consistent.
Don't forget, Pedro, that today's science fiction is tomorrow's science fact. So
exactly.
To an extent, I mean, there are still the laws of physics. So.
Yeah, come on, Allison. You know, Allison, come on.
I mean,
and we're never really going to be able to travel in time.
Physics, schmizzics.
There's
physics.
Time travel, you can go forward.
Yeah.
There are ways to go forward in time. They can actually replicate it now.
The thing is, you see, I know you
can use Einstein's theories to travel forward in time because of time dilation around speed and
the theory of special relativity.
Yeah, but you can't come back from it. That's the problem.
You guys are giving me a headache.
Well, you can come back from it with enough energy. That's kind of like infinite energy.
Right. Doesn't take infinite energy, but
if you're talking if you're talking laws of physics,
I'm
it's
definitely
next,
talking laws of physics.
it's next
Yeah,
to
that's the thing.
impossible. If you move outside of the laws of physics and you go
I'm
to
not moving outside
what,
the laws of physics. I can do
and
it
what
within the
people
laws of
quite
physics.
like to call
Yeah.
metaphysics.
That's a
The person who
decision.
studied astrophysics
Yeah.
You can
telling
you
you
can,
that there are theoretical physics for traveling
Theoretical.
back in time.
there are theoretical physics, but it
Mm.
requires huge numbers of energy and mass and
Yeah,
all kinds of
well,
stuff to get
it's-
you there.
No, the
So-
math is there.
Yeah,
That's the
but
thing. That's what theoretical physics is.
It-
So
it
when
still
somebody says,
doesn't-
like, string
but,
theory
but,
and
it,
all
but
that.
it's it, but from a but if you're gonna stress real world or real world, if you're gonna stress the science of theoretical physics within a storytelling environment,
No,
and
no.
say
If I'm gonna
and
stress,
say I can't step
stop,
outside of
stop
that,
right there.
then
just stop. If you're stressing theoretical physics, and I'm specifically saying theoretical physics,
Yeah.
not a scientific theory, but theoretical physics.
right,
That is your leap. In most science fiction stories, there's one leap in
Mhm.
technology.
right,
Usually it's faster than light travel.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because it's theoretically impossible. There are ways to cheat it using like the warp drive and things like that.
Yeah.
But you can't move faster than the speed of light because speed of light technically doesn't have a speed. Now, if you're going with things like traveling back in time, if you utilize an Einstein-Rosen bridge, you can do it.
yeah,
But the thing is, you have to be able to create a stable Einstein-Rosen bridge or a wormhole.
exactly, yeah.
That's the problem. But that would be your leap.
Yeah.
But even then, if you were to, an Einstein-Rosen bridge doesn't necessarily go back. I mean, how do you
No,
control?
there's math to make it work.
How do you control which direction of,
If you
of
would
the
like
arrow
me to
of time
post the
you
math
send
for it,
the
I will, but
bridge?
it's going to take me a few hours to write the formula.
This sounds like another show, but in the end,
Yeah.
they still didn't keep Trump from becoming president.
No, it doesn't work like that. That's the
No,
thing
no.
about
What
time
they
travel.
did was they went back and rewrote the Simpsons script.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know. Like,
that's
the way
the
I
thing
see
about
it,
time
the
travel.
way I see it, I take it from Frank Herbert.
It doesn't
It's
work like that.
He came
You
up with a
can't go back in
scientist.
time and change the
Yeah.
past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you go back in time, you're now part of the past. What's
Mhm.
happened has happened. You're just now part of it.
Mhm.
This is the
Unless it's branching.
that's not the same. That's
No, that's
multiversal
multiple
theory.
universes. That's going
That's a whole
from
nother
one to
set
the
of
other.
Multiversal
quantum-
theory. That's
But
theory.
that's the time. So, for instance, that's the time travel they used in
The
Back
Avengers.
to the Future,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Is
Yeah.
this derailed? I don't know.
It's a typical Sunday Funnies, Perry. How many episodes have you
We're
watched?
going on the actual science.
I
We
just
go
wanna
everywhere
go
on this show.
I
We
just
go everywhere.
I feel like the train car is rolling, like we're running down the hills. I just
It
want to
is.
know, like, are we derailing?
Well, we've jumped from European influences to Japanese influences to talking about theoretical physics. This is a great
Yeah,
show.
like, yeah, but it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
awesome. Like, I don't know, like the whole
The thing
thing. Like,
about
I
theoretical physics
Yeah.
is that you can do anything with theoretical physics.
Mhm.
It's theoretical.
Well-
it's a theory. Yeah.
Well, no, that's not what a theory is in science. A theory is proven fact, pretty much.
I'm a comic book artist. Like, I really don't want to do.
A theoretical physics is utilizing mathematics to make an idea work. There's a bit more to it than that, but this is a simple way of explaining it. Like, if I want to say the Earth is the center of the universe, I can utilize the math to do it. That's theoretical physics. Now, if you're talking like practical physics and things of that nature, that's different.
The Earth is the center of our universe.
To some, yes, it definitely is.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, influences out there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just
I'd like
as
to
long
say
as it
Stephen
advances
Hawking
the
is one of
story.
my influences.
I guess.
As long as
Yeah.
it advances the story, I'm cool. That's
Oh,
all
yeah.
I care about, really.
Just to get back to why we're here with the
Yeah.
influences.
Sorry, derailed.
Whiplash.
Yeah.
Glenn,
Uh,
do it.
People, artists, budding artists, let's call them that,
Mhm.
should realize that the best influence is what you see with your eyes. It's not looking at a Kurt Swan Superman and seeing how wonderfully drawn it is. It's not looking at a Jack Kirby story, see how he tells it. It's about seeing you using your eyes to see the world out there and adapting, because if you want to learn to draw or practice drawing, you should be learning how to draw people and then you can put the cape on them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Find the shapes and then build from
just
there.
to get back from quantum physics and all that stuff.
Take a sketch pad out to the park, folks, and just sit
Yeah,
there.
Exactly.
Think
Yeah,
about
people-
trees,
there's
people,
a
everything
lot
you
of
see.
books.
Yep.
There's a lot of books that can give you the basics. Like, man, you got the Bridgman book, you got the Loomis book, you got well. As an animator, I was introduced to Bilpu. A lot of people say like Bilpu is a little bit esoteric, but if you want somebody who's going to teach you how to draw through the form, Glenn Bilpu. He used to train all the people in Cal Arts when Cal Arts was something. Not now. Bilpu is really old, and you can find his lecture videos on YouTube. Like there's a page for him, and dude, that's the thing. Like he'll teach you how to draw through the form and basically learn how to control the form as it moves.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of guesswork, and that's something that I don't see that much in Loomis and
I always lean back on Jack Ham.
Jack Ham. Yeah, Jack Ham was always really cool.
Tuning the head and figure. There you go.
Mhm.
It's an old book, folks, but it's got everything in it.
Hey, information is information. The fact that it's old.
All the information's there. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we are. Hey, I turned the conversation back to Jack Ham. Here we go.
Importantly, anatomy is not the same as figure drawing.
No, not really.
Too true.
They're two different things. It's important to understand how the body mechanically works.
Yes.
But just understanding the mechanics doesn't give you a believable form.
Not really. Like you have to do a combination of the two.
Yeah.
Look at all the flubs Da Vinci did.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
if
all
you
the time
are
where he's
only-
figuring
if
out
you
how the
only-
body works and the toes are all mangled and all sorts of stuff. Just great stuff.
Like if you only study anatomy, when you put the body in motion, it's going to look stiff. But if you only do figure drawing, then it's going to look like a very malleable and moving cartoon. So you have to study both. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael DeFonte. I have that Jack Ham book. Yes, sir. I had it for a long time. Every time I give it out, I never give it back or get it back. So,
oh yeah, dude, that's
running across a copy at an old bookstore, and I nabbed it. That's not getting out of my hands again.
Yeah, that's
I
something
have
I
that
don't
problem
do.
with several of my books, particularly my How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way book.
Yeah,
I can never keep a copy of it. I loaned it to somebody and I never see it again. It's
Five
just-
and below.
Books. Yeah.
Five and below, $5. You can pick up that book if you if they
I
still have
figured
it.
I
in
bought
stock.
it enough. I just went and downloaded a copy.
There you
So
go.
I always do.
You
Yep.
can
Yeah.
download a copy from the central library, can't you?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you change your system. Yeah.
Every time PDFs came about, I have them lend a book. Can I get that book? I send them the PDF through email. There you go.
There you are.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not
What you
lending
got to
books.
do now. Yeah. I was that way for the longest time with a Watchmen collection too. I'd hand it out to somebody. I'd never see it back.
Mhm.
Just
It's horrible.
I think I
And then,
bought
like,
that
you-
like
you-
5 times over. Yeah.
And then you lose a friend because
It just disappears.
yeah,
Yeah.
just want to throw
That-
him.
That Monster Society of Evil book we looked through about a month or so back. That was
Yeah.
an example of that. I loaned it out
Actually-
to a retailer. I didn't see it back for years.
I want to show you a travesty. Give me 1 second.
But yeah, when you come to my influences for my drawing, Eisner has to be top of my list. Then C.C. Beck, who I caught at a very early age. I caught those Shazam reprints back in the 70s. Then Alex Toth, then probably Carl Barks, who was a big influence on my youth because I was able to read the Duck stories long before I was able to read superhero stories. My parents wouldn't let me have superhero stories because of the violence. And then my fifth one would have to be Ditko because I've done a lot of drawing. So I sit back and look at it and go, it looks a lot like Steve Ditko.
Guys, this is the last book I lent.
Never again,
And-
huh?
And it was they gave it back to me like this.
Oh, wow.
And,
Sorry.
and that guy is no longer with us. And
I wonder why.
yeah. And the thing is, like, dude, this is one of the books, like one of my references for movies.
There.
Like, I want to show you, like, just the opening page.
There are a few places in the
Yeah.
jungle you don't go to
Wow.
anymore. Is that what you're saying?
I mean,
I don't want to be around
Yeah.
that guy.
yeah, just no.
Wow. Sorry to see that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I don't lend books. Like today, like if someone like, hey, Pedro, gonna borrow that, whatever. I find the PDF and I send them their way. You get the information, but you don't touch my book. How about that? And
There we go. Yeah.
Same thing with your vinyl records, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh,
No, don't ever lend a vinyl record.
Idle records. Who wants to loan those out of you?
I
It's
lent
hard
some
enough
of my
just to find a
original
record
Akira
player.
collection.
Yeah.
Listen, when I was at college, right, 50 years ago, when I was at college and Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars record came out, there was a because Bowie was suddenly big. There was a massive. They put all his albums out again, you know, his previous albums that nobody knew.
Release, yeah.
And I bought Space Oddity, and
nice.
I bought it on the Tuesday, and on the Thursday, I lent it to a guy, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't see that album for 6 weeks because he'd loaned it to his friend who lent it to his friend. So everybody and his dog was playing my record.
Yeah.
Before you were.
Before I was, yeah. So because I think I lent it to him so he could copy it. He said, I'll bring it back in the morning. I'll just copy it overnight. So I said, okay. And I didn't see it for 6 weeks.
Yeah,
and it had been around the world twice. And everybody knew the songs and I didn't. And it was my bloody record, you know.
So, okay, guys, like this story is very interesting. So this is Glenn Keane. Like when he was told, like, dude, like you're going to draw Tarzan and he's half naked. He basically took a sabbatical from Disney and went to France to study life drawing, and figure drawing and anatomy. And this is like a year and a half of study under French masters. And he basically was interpreting the body in motion and what the muscles do. And one of the things that blew my mind is muscles only contract, guys. You don't exert strength with muscles extending. So whenever you move out, you bring your bicep up, your bicep contracts. That's what makes the movement. When you move out, your tricep contracts. That's what makes the movement. And that happens throughout the whole body. So it's not only knowing where the muscles go, but what happens when they contract, and that will make your mind explode and you'll see the world differently. So yeah, it's a combination of figure drawing and anatomy.
You're making me want to go back and rewatch that Tarzan cartoon.
Oh, dude, you have to.
I had no appreciation for that when it came out. None.
Mm-hmm. Because it's all in the underdrawing. It's all in the underdrawing. But the lines he chose to put there are there for a reason. Oh, that's another one. Ooh.
Yep. I had to re-get all of the original Epic ones because I lent them to someone and never saw them again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I can give you numbers, Ali. I can help you in that regard. Numbers of people with a set of skills.
A certain set of skills.
Yeah.
Particular. I have a particular set of skills.
Yeah.
Particular set of skills to recover books.
I will find you.
Yeah. I will find you.
I will get my book back.
The first short film I did was about a person who had an overdue library book being chased by effectively a Terminator to get the library book back.
Yeah, dude, it's just, and it's I thought it was a Latin thing, but
I see it's in that movie. So
yeah,
those people, Pedro, that you mentioned there, those are the kind of people who know how to stop the motion of the body, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this book changed me. This comic changed.
Oh yeah, Akira.
When I found Akira,
I
found the movie first, and then
Alison, is that printed the wrong way around? That Akira, is it? You know?
Is it right to left?
Correctly.
Yeah.
Is it printed unnaturally?
It's printed. It's the first printed one in the traditional style of Japanese. So it's right to left.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's.
And I read so much manga now; it doesn't really phase me.
It still throws me. I can't.
That's just not Jesus to me. Yeah. No, that's all right. I don't care.
I picked up a beautiful set of Nausicaa a couple of years back, and then realized it was right to left, and I'm like, damn it. Mad.
Yeah, I have to get my Nausicaa's again because I lent them to somebody and I've never seen them again.
There's a beautiful box set out there. It's just gorgeous. Everything all in one with one slipcase.
Yeah, that's basically what I wanted to get.
Yeah. Yeah, we drooled over that Akira before.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's the way he draws technology and all that.
Yeah, dude.
The way he draws everything in that book, it's just amazing.
Yeah, dude. That's the thing about like late '80s
Well, this is
manga artist.
1982.
Yeah, exactly. But the
Yeah.
thing is, like, Akira just sparked a whole, like, plethora of artists that took a note from Akira, and you get like Bubblegum Crisis, Bad Labor.
Again, you got to go where the money flows.
Yeah, exactly. But
One
all
person
that
comes out and it just influences the entire industry. Look at all of the imitations of Sin City that have popped up.
Yeah.
There, so
everybody
there's all
wants to be
sorts of
Humpty
little
Bogart.
touchstones as you go along. Yeah.
Mhm.
This is one of the other major artists that has influenced me.
Oh, Spriggan. Yeah.
Spriggan.
Yeah, the Ryuji Minagawa.
Mhm.
He is super. He is definitely a student of Otomo in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
But
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You
It's
see
a
the
lot of that
same,
there.
like,
Yeah.
the same, like, aesthetics,
Mhm.
the flavor, even the choice of shots. Like,
he even has
Akira
an
was-
evil little psychic kid in one of his one of his stories.
Yeah. I saw the movie first.
Yeah, so did I. But that's the evil little psychic kid.
Mhm.
Yeah, the movie is fantastic. The storyline doesn't make much sense, but it's
Not at all. But the thing is, like, I've learned to love that about anime. Like, just go there, pay the ticket, and come out confused. Like, yeah, that was good.
Sometimes you just have to let art flow over you.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a sequence in the movie. Just check it out on YouTube at some point. It's basically this running fight through Istanbul, basically through the bazaar of Istanbul.
Yeah.
My friend Curtis was watching the movie with me, and he's just like, this looks exactly like the bazaar in Istanbul, because he was doing archaeology work in Turkey at the time, a little bit before that. He's like, this pretty much looks like the bazaar in Istanbul.
Cool.
Dude, like, I don't know, like, hearing that,
One of my
that
best
number.
friends who's Turkish, she's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I've been there. So,
Nice. Dude, hearing the name of that country in English always makes me chuckle because it's like a foul. Because in Spanish,
Istanbul.
yeah, no, Turkey. Yeah, but-
Turkey.
Yeah, but because Turkey in Spanish, is yeah, and Turkey is pavo. So we don't have that down here. Like, we don't have that confusion. It's like, I've been to Turkey. Like, I don't know. That's just the kid in me. But yeah, like,
I go to Turkey every November.
yeah, exactly.
this is
Attack on Titan.
more modern influence on me.
Yeah. I don't know. I found that story very depressing. It's really cool, and I know white people enjoy it, but to me, it's just depressed the hell out of me.
You know, white people enjoy it. Is that what you said?
I don't know. It depressed me. Like, I'm not talking about my people.
But yeah, don't get attached to anybody. You'll
Yeah.
probably die.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah.
Mm.
The cool thing I loved about that when I was watching the anime is that it was such an onion and everything was peeling back and you're seeing
Yeah.
more and more and a bigger universe. And it was just amazing. Yeah.
Isasawa is like the master plotter. I mean, there's like this. Dang, the way this thing comes out.
And there's only 30 volumes?
Yeah, only. But yes, yeah.
Yeah. About
There's
like
no
that.
wonder there's no
Oh.
trees left on the earth. So
Pretty much,
size,
yeah.
size of those
More.
volumes.
Well,
More
like,
paper
Monkey has,
devoted
like,
to manga
100.
in Japan than there is toilet paper. So
Yeah, it's probably.
Yeah. They use bidets down there.
that's true too. Yeah. Bidets come in handy. Saves the
Bidet.
trees for more manga.
For more manga, yeah.
Let's see.
They respect paper like that.
Another one of my
Used
modern
to make it out of rice. Still do.
one of my other modern influences is Yusuke Murata, who does
Oh, One Punch Man?
and
Yeah.
I love the way he screen tones everything with his like kind of elongated characters. They're just interesting.
Yeah.
Part of the fun of 70s underground comics. Zip down
Yep.
screens. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. All in computer now.
Yep.
Well, then
I
you
mean,
got
I'm
my
a-
friend Ian,
I'm
who
an
does
old
them all by
computer guy.
hand still.
Yeah.
They used to have professional toners that worked in studios that were masters of Zipatone.
Oh, I still have my Zipatone behind me someplace that
Yeah.
I go in and cut out, but the way my hands are, thanks to MS, it's harder for me to do it. So, but yeah, so that's the big one, and I have my other major influence.
There you go.
I was prepared for this. I just overslept.
He's got a box.
He's got a box. Oh, a little battle angel.
Yep.
Oh, there you are. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, dude. Look at that, dude. That looks like commitment.
That is commitment. Yeah.
This is the.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
When were these published, Alison?
These were published relatively recently in this collection. I had the manga of this when it was like being published by like Dark Horse or something when they were putting out
Yeah.
copies
Yep.
of it.
Yeah.
So are those from the 90s then, the original
Yep.
ones?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I first discovered Battle Angels through the OVA,
Mhm.
and I'm like, I want more of this, and I found the manga. And I'm trying to find a good one. Oh, that's a fun set of pages.
Yeah. Wow. I like all those millions of lines they put for the effect.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do too. I try to stick them in whenever I can.
Rapidograph. Crazy.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Nice.
But yeah, that's a sampling of who inspired me, and then of American people, I would say I focus a lot on Todd McFarlane. Got me really into drawing comics, and Bill Watterson.
Yeah. Calvin and Hobbes.
Yep, as well as
Still
Joe
evergreen.
Madureira.
Yeah.
I mean, I love John Byrne and a bunch of other people, but I always just wanted to do comic strips more than.
In comic books.
Comic
Yeah.
books, yeah.
It's more profitable to do strips.
Yep, but it's that's what I want to do. And then I really got into comics, and I was just like, I kind of want to do this.
Mm.
And I'm
So,
not.
Comic strips are really a dying art. I mean,
Yeah, they are.
Newspapers are dropping all the time, so it's really
Mhm.
unless you're on digital on the web, you're not
So,
doing much
yeah.
strip work. Yeah.
So let's just say it was profitable.
And
I
it's
don't
very
think I-
hard to make a living at it anymore. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think I can be funny every day.
Mm.
that too. It's always a challenge.
Yeah.
You don't see these geniuses like Burke Breathitt and Waterston and Gary Larson very often. You know, that's
No.
why their strips are as memorable and
Timeless.
as iconic as they are. Yeah.
I mean, I give it. I mean, Bill Watterson leaving to go off and be like, "Nope, I'm done." That's just like amazing that he did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Scott Adams kind of did the same thing, but anyway, that's a whole nother story.
I think Scott Adams took aim at his foot and fired at close range.
I think he saw the writing on the wall and wanted to retire,
Yeah. I mean,
and then be
people-
left alone. So,
Yeah.
How you
People
gonna-
develop other interests too.
what a great way to
That's the
do
thing.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If I don't make any money anymore, I don't care. I made money. Boom. Yeah,
Well, he
Yeah.
definitely did that.
he did.
I mean, I used to
Smoke-
read Dilbert all
smoke
the time,
grenade.
especially when I was working in IT.
I
Mm.
bet. Yeah.
It's
Folks, I want to thank you for watching and sticking with this with our wandering conversations and all. We know you've got your own influences. We've given you a lot of stuff to look at,
Yeah.
a lot of, and well, there'll be a lot more in future episodes as well. Plus, we're archived over at the Indie Comics Network, so you can go back and listen to this kind of madness over and over again, as much as you can take. We also do another show called Comics by Night, early Friday mornings at 5 a.m., where we take and look at the work of a sequential arts master, and dissect it, talk about it, take a hard look at it. Upcoming episodes starting in May, we're going to be going through Watchmen, probably panel by panel.
Nice.
so you'll be done sometime
this
in
point.
May of 2026.
We might be done by
around.
October. We're not sure. No, we're just going to go through it until we're done. And I've got the annotated Watchmen. I've got a number of other Watchmen books. Russ has got a book, and I don't know if Glenn's got a book or not, but
I do, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure. Well,
A book.
we'll go through
Yeah.
and take a look at it. There's a lot there, and it's really the work of genius.
No, Watchmen's amazing. So,
That's
Yeah.
starting in May. We have one more episode in between that where I think we're going to take a look at the genius of Alex Nino. I really do. I really
Mm.
want to show some stuff off. I've got a little bit of. I picked up a book last week. I showed you on the Facebook message board. I got a book on Frank Bellamy and a book on Sidney Jordan. That would be just great to take a look at. But I have to go through the Bellamy book bit by bit because there's naughty bits there that we'll have to block out a little bit.
Yeah.
That Garth. Anyway.
Garth is brilliant.
Always, it is. Always finding an excuse for women to lose their tops.
Yeah. So the Sir Perry.
I think I'm going to stay away
Randy,
from him.
So Randy, the Sir Perry show is out of the question then.
The what?
Sir Perry show.
Oh, we might do it, but we'd have to mask a lot of stuff.
Yeah. That's
I've had a book.
hardcore.
I've had a book sitting here for the longest time by Eric Stanton that we could probably go through, except it's all fetish and bondage art. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, ooh.
Nah.
I say do it.
Just got to go through a strategic, thumb placement or whatever.
We need to do an X-rated middle of the night show.
We do.
Sunday Funnies on Pornhub.
Comics late by night. Yeah, I've got quite a few of those collections. Yeah, Faust. That would be another interesting look.
Yeah. And the art is amazing, but it's just like, nah, dude, come on.
They just crowdfunded a big Faust collection, Quinn. And
nice.
I missed it by like a day because it sold out in one day.
Wow.
Just send David Quinn a message and tell him that you want it. And so Russ just stepped out. He must have lost him because of Faust. That's it.
Yeah, well, because of Faust. All this.
Probably.
I'm sorry. Criticizing too much.
David Quinn's very accessible. You let him know who you are and that you're looking for a copy. He might be able to set you up.
I think I'm friends with him on Facebook.
Allison, tell folks how they can find you.
I'm right here on the Indie Comics Network every Friday with Arting with the Alley Cat, and occasionally I even talk science. So,
nice.
I'm also on Twitter, Instagram. I got a link tree. I think it's in the description. And follow me on Patreon. So I got comics.
I've got a trailer for Prototype Zero. We'll run as we go out the door. Pedro, tell folks how they can find you.
Oh, okay. I'm Pedro Ryan. You can find me on the Twitters at Ngilla. You can find my YouTube channel as Pedro Ang. Be on the lookout. I'm starting an animation school online. So it's going to involve short 10-minute videos with little classes on how to go to the principle of animation. And I'm planning on doing live streams on Fridays. I'm trying to see what hour, but it's going to be early, like 5 or 6 p.m., where we can have like a live stream where we can review classes and we go like a little bit more in depth and more like complicated scenes, like how to involve camera and how to do like action scenes and whatnot. But the principles of animations are just going to be on short videos. So that's on the lookout. I'm working on them as I speak, and probably by next month, I'm going to be putting the first 4 videos up on my channel, which is going to involve the bouncing ball where you
stretch and squash.
No, that would be line of action, timing and spacing, and line of action, timing and spacing. Then you go overlap in action with the leaf exercise. And then we go with flower sack, which is like combining line of action with follow through, which is a kind of overlapping action. Awesome. And on there we go until we cover the 12 principles. So it's going to be exciting. I'm a teacher. I have 15 years experience teaching animation. I used to own a school, and I've been an animator for 22 years. So yeah, it's
you know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's a firsthand
information. Can they find that?
What's that?
Where are they going to be able to find those short videos?
Oh, well, on my YouTube channel, Pedro Ang. So if you subscribe now, you'll find nothing there, but the videos are on their way.
Okay, Glenn, tell folks how they can find you.
Usual social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, things like that. You can find me. This is coming to the stores now, which is my book about my visits to see Jack Kirby. And if you're on the DVD, you can still get that through me. You can also see me in the pages of this Comics Unlimited magazine, which comes out every few months. It's 100-page. It's just great articles, interviews, artwork, all that kind of stuff. And you can find me on these podcasts with Randy on Friday mornings and Sunday afternoon, and occasionally elsewhere.
It's Friday mornings at 5 a.m. You're still doing the Comics Unlimited podcast as well?
We're not doing that one at the moment for a few weeks.
Okay.
Ted and I are both really busy, obviously, doing these other things. So we've decided to drop that we're coming back in May.
Cool. And folks, I've been your host, Randy Zimmerman. You can find my work over at arrowcomics.store, where you can find works like Calico of Shard, which is a great fantasy book that I created and wrote with artwork by the great C. Michael Lanning, who we hope gets well real soon. Revolt, which is a short story collection. Russ has got a story in there. Glenn's got a story in there. Paragon, which is another superhero property that I wrote with artwork by J.R. Harris. And Hero Bot Zero, which is a book that I wrote and drew, which is the adventures
I
of
need that.
a 3-foot tall giant robot. I'll make sure you get a copy.
I definitely need that.
I'll send that with your Fool book.
Awesome.
So 3-foot tall giant robot defending his city from large menaces. So he's got an entire arsenal built
On
inside
time
of
and a half.
It's a lot
I'm
of
so
time.
going to
As
draw.
long as he can get time and a half
I
for
still
a
want to do
hazard
a
pig.
cover for that book. So,
I want you to do a cover for that book. Absolutely. Did I sent you the front side back, didn't I?
Nope, you haven't yet.
Don't let me forget. I'll try to get that to you today.
I will torment you later then.
That's fine. Do
I
that.
torment everyone anyways. So.
We'll be back Friday morning at Comics by Night at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then again, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. for another episode of Sunday Funnies. We'll be live for the time being. We're not planning on recording a show and unless we have to. I don't have another show right now scheduled, I think, until August, until the really cool Comic Con coming up here in Flint, Michigan. So, folks, we'll see. Unless somebody invites me to another show, I keep waiting to hear back from Capital City Con in Lansing, and they haven't. I talked to them at Grand Rapids. They said, "Yeah, we'll get right back to you."
I'm hoping to be somewhere around your house in August, Randy. So I'll keep you informed on that.
I'll keep a lookout.
Very cool.
So
Glenn's come to the States.
get the watchdog out. Yeah. Like I said, we'll all travel up north and go have some chicken.
Yeah.
Well, you're welcome to come up to Boston. I'll introduce you to real seafood.
Okay.
There you go. Now I got to find that around here. So we're a red meat town here. So we have a couple of fish restaurants that have been there for a long time. They're incredibly well established, and that's where you
he's
go.
back.
Oh, and Russ is back. Russ, tell folks how they can find you.
I didn't
Sorry
scare
you
him
left
off.
Just in time to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Dodgy
Hello, we
internet
must be
connection.
going. Yeah.
Yes. Bloody BT. Yeah, you can
BT.
find me at russleach.com when your internet works. Huh, who knew?
knew?
You can find me on Instagram. There's a new piece of art up there every day, whether it's archived or brand new. You can sign up to my email list over at russleach.com. Find out about Only Death Can Save Us, new projects that are up and coming with me and Randy and other notable visionaries. But also you can find me on pages of Batman in Europe and UK currently, and also a new story for Doctor Who magazine coming soon. So find out all that at russleach.com.
Just before you go, Russ, I meant to mention earlier, you were saying about John Buscema always had a pencil in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I read somewhere that when he was buried, they put a pencil in his hand.
No.
Yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah.
That wouldn't
That's all I believe.
They can bury me with my
Yeah.
pencil and my black belt. How's that?
That works.
That's the way to do it.
Folks, take care. Watch the Indie Comics Network. We'll have a little bump for all the different shows. Allison has a show up there as well. Pedro, Nerd Bacon on Thursdays when Luke can. We'll see you there.
Yeah, and the
And,
James and
you're
Pedro
always-
show.
You're always
the James
welcome
and
here.
Pedro show the James and Pedro show every Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Great.
Just a chill show. You can come up, chill your book. We'll discuss it, your career and whatnot. It's a nice place. We had Art Fisher, like last Tuesday,
Yeah,
and it was awesome. So
I bet.
yeah, guys,
Yeah.
check it.
Right, folks. Take care. See you soon. Pedro, I need to be on your show.
See you.
Yeah. Oh, dude, talk to James. He's the owner.
Okay. We'll see everybody soon.
Take care,
Take
guys.
care.
See you.
That's it, Daniel.
Have a question or comment for us to address on the show? Have a topic you want us to talk about? Email us at indiecomicsnetwork@gmail.com. Want your comics to arrive in pristine condition? Head over to GeminiComicSupply.com and save 10% on your next Gemini mailer order or anything in the Gemini Comic Supply store. Use coupon code RAGIN10. That's RAGIN 10.
And who's your favorite Marvel Comics hero? Mine is Superman. Remember the motto? With great power comes great responsibility.
What? What?
Keep trying to start this and it's not kicking over. Here we go. That was a bunch of my influences right there. Should point out I'm going to be on JD's show later today, 7:30 Eastern time. We'll talk more about comics then. But in the meantime, let's be all gravy.
The cops are doing their job as long as they don't be mean to people who are actually being innocent. Then I'm all gravy, baby.